Paul Hogendyke from Ancient Pathways. Our company is dedicated to personal and spiritual development through ancient wisdom and modern tools. It's my pleasure to be with you here today, and I'm going to discuss anxiety and depression in particular today, one of the top subjects on the planet. And you hear so much about mental health and what are we going to do about it, and it's such a problem, and everywhere you look there's Beyond Blue and there's all sorts of other different organizations that are doing what they can to assist. And it is a big issue, but the question is, why is it such a big issue at this time? This is one of the things I'd like to discuss. We're also going to discuss with you the tools and techniques that we've created and that have been around for a long time that will assist you, should you so choose, to make change in your own life. Now, you noticed I said, should you so choose, and that is one of the key words. It's got to be your choice. You've got to want to make change. First and foremost, the most important thing, otherwise nothing will change in your world. When people come to see me in my clinic and they come and sit with me, that's one of the first questions that I ask them. Are you ready to change? Are you ready to make a difference in your world? The next question is, how do you know? What do I mean by that? How do you know it's time to change? How do you know that you're ready? Have you had enough pain? Have you had enough discomfort? Because human beings are a funny species, and we will tend to not move unless we've been in enough pain and discomfort, until it gets to a point where we really need to do something about it. The whole concept of anxiety and depression is a very interesting subject. There's a subject that's close to my heart because I can see so many people suffering from it. I can see so many people running from it. Where do they run? They'll run to gambling, they'll run to drinking, they'll run to anything that will distract them from what's going on in their lives. It may be drugs, it may be any natural form of addiction that they can find, anything that they're looking for to distract their minds from what's really going on. So what have we got to do first? We've got to face our fears. We've got to sit squarely on the ground and we've got to go, you know what, there's a problem going on. How do I solve it? Not why can't I solve it, how do I solve it? And then we start to look. I'm a hypnotherapist, clinical hypnotherapist, have been for quite a long time now. And these are the tools that I use in my clinic to assist people to begin to unravel what it is that's truly going on. You see, most people don't even know where this is coming from. Their ideas, their beliefs, their habits, their addictions are coming from. Their anxiety, their depression. What is that? But when we sit down and we begin to delve into the deep minds, the unconscious mind, we begin to understand some of the programs that have been running through your lives for such a long period of time. And you can't get to it from the conscious mind. Your conscious mind is only 5% of who you are. So it's your deep mind that runs most of your programs. And let me give you an example of how that works. From the age of 0 to 7, you have your imprint period. Now, what is your imprint period? Your imprint period is the time when you're wide open, subconscious. There is no what we call critical factor. There is no judgment. There is no filter to anything that goes into your mind itself. This is how you create your world. So if I said to a 3 or 4-year-old, you know what, this morning I got up and I heard all of this noise. And I went downstairs and somebody had knocked over all the fences and it was really noisy down there. And when I went down there were 3 pink elephants in my backyard. And when I say that to an adult, I say, well, what would you think if I told you that? And they would say, well, you're crazy. And I'd say, yes, you're probably right. But if I said that to a 3-year-old, it would be a different experience. And that 3-year-old would be wide-eyed and open and wanting to know, was it, you know, a big elephant or a little elephant, and what color pink were they, and all of these things, because there is no other belief system that comes in and goes, no, that's a lot of rubbish. That's my critical factor. That is the thing that stops me from openly accepting everything, which is a really good thing. Thing is that when you tell a child that, you know, a tree is green, the sky is blue, and all these different things that go along with it, they begin to take these things on as being a reality, which is a great thing. That's how we learn. So many connections, what we call neurological connections going on. That's how you learn things. Your mind makes a connection and it links up. So you understand that habits are that way, learning is that way. It's done as a physical connection in the brain. And so we have all of these links and connections that are put together when we're very young. Unfortunately, some of those can be negative connotations, negative connections. And when you're talking about the subconscious mind or the deep mind, it sets up a program to protect you. Now, the example that I use, and I often use, is you imagine that if a little child had been waiting for dad to come home from work, and been waiting all day, this is a preschooler, and finally dad pulls up and comes in the driveway, gets out of the car, and the child's so excited, dad's home, comes running to the door. Oh, dad's had a heck of a day. He opens the door and pushes past the child, says, out of my way, I'm busy. Out of my way, I'm busy. And what just happened? In that split second, that child made a decision about themselves, about the situation, about what just happened. All of these things went through their mind, and we have no clue what it is that happened at that point. But there was a choice made, a decision, a belief made. What was it? Was it I'm not good enough? Was it I'm not worthy of love? Was it that dad doesn't love me? What happened? And it's so quick. But it's a program that will run through your life for the rest of your life until you learn how to go back and change the deep mind, the patterns in the deep mind, the connections that no longer serve. Because that little event, or any other similar event, can literally drive the truck or the bus through your life then. The little one is in charge of that emotion. And so the ancient wisdom, the tribal situation, when this sort of thing happens, there was a way of clearing it. You'd have your medicine man, or you'd have your tohunga in the Maori culture. You would have somebody, a koro or an elder, who would sit down with you and they would begin to work through this process. And they did work with trance. The trance state was a big part of it. Now, I've sat with elders, medicine men from all over the planet. They go into a different realm. When they read you, they begin to understand what has been going on. It's an imprint around your body. I do very similar work when I sit with a person. What is the real issue here? You say you come in and you can't lose weight. And you've tried and you've tried and you've tried to lose weight, and it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't come off. So what happens there? I sat with a lady who told me this story about how she couldn't lose weight. And then she talked a little bit further, and what she said to me was something about her mother. And then the tears began to well up in her eyes. And I said to her, what is that all about? She said, you know, I never got a chance to say goodbye to my mum before she died. She said she had a stroke. I was here, she was living in England. I got on the plane, and halfway across to get to see her, she passed away. And in that moment, we both knew why she couldn't lose weight. We did a process to take her back to meet with her mum, to say what it is that she needed to say, to deal with that issue that she hadn't dealt with. And shortly afterwards, she rang me and she'd lost 3 or 4 kilos, and she was well and truly on track to losing that weight that she hadn't lost or hadn't been able to lose. So things aren't always the way they seem. And yet in our culture, the answer that we have currently is medication. Well, we'll give you an anti-anxiety tablet. It's going to fix everything. Take this and keep taking them for the rest of your life, or until further notice. What's happened there? We'll get back to that in a moment. We'll take an antidepressant. Isn't that great that we've got all of these pills? They just lined up with the label. You take an anti-anxiety, all fixed. no problem anymore. We take an antidepressant, no issue anymore, problem solved. Well, that's BS. It isn't solved. What you've done is you put a cork on the top. And so many people come into my clinic taking antidepressants that become suicidal. So what's that all about? It's the spirit inside. This is what the ancient people knew all along. Your spirit needs to grow. Your spirit needs to flourish. Your spirit needs to expand as a human being, as a person on the planet that has come to be part of all of this. We need to be able to grow as humans. If we're not walking our path, that is one of the biggest reasons why people go into depression. When they suppress who they are. Depression, suppression, same thing. Either way, they keep you down. You suppress who you are, you become depressed. Begin to live who you are. Begin to remember who you are. Begin to look at the first thing that I give people are their talents and their abilities. Remember what you're naturally good at. Remember that. What did you always used to love to do as a child? What do people say? You used to be really good at that. You used to be an amazing drawer, or you could sing, or you could dance, or you were a leader, or whatever it is. Those talents are still there. They're your gifts. That's why they call them your talents. Your abilities. What are you naturally good at? What would you do whether you got paid for it or not? What would that be? What would you do whether you got paid for it or not? Day in, day out. Begin to follow those things. Look at the great freeways of life and see how many depressed people are going backwards and forwards, stuck in those traffic jams day after day after day. And that is the price that they pay for not living who they are. You think most of them are happy? Very few of them are happy. So one other tip that I'd like to give you, begin to admit to the fact that you are an amazing being. Step up to that fact, that belief. Look at what you're good at. Start following that. Begin to build your confidence. And then also have a look at the fact that the moment is your most important place to be. Your moment, this present time is your sanctuary. And if I could give you one tip that you could take with you, the most important thing I'm saying the whole of this series, this time, remember, the moment is your place of safety, it's your place of sanctuary. Train your mind. Your mind is like a little puppy that's going to want to run around everywhere. You need to say to it, come back here, sit, stay. Big mind's in charge now. Anxiety lives in the future. To create anxiety in your world, you must create a scenario that hasn't occurred, and then you need to worry about it. Because currently there is no scenario, there is no problem most of the time. But we project into the future what might happen, and then we worry about it. That is anxiety. In the present moment, we come back here, take a deep breath in, breathe it out. Am I okay right now? Depression lives in the past. Depression lives back here. If only I hadn't done this. If only my wife hadn't left me. If only the government hadn't taken all my money. If only I hadn't been ripped off. If only the stock market hadn't dropped. If only my children understood where I was coming from. If only I hadn't got picked up for speeding or drink driving. Forget it, guys. It's finished. It's gone. That's why they call it the past. Learn from it. As I was saying in the beginning, take the jewels from it. What did I learn? What do I don't want to do next time? What will I do next time instead? Take those things only. Leave the rest behind. Bring yourself back into the moment. Breathe. Appreciate what you have. Give yourself a lot of time to give yourself the gift of gratitude for the things that we already have around us. Start listing them. What am I grateful for? What do I have? What is around me now that I'm so thankful for? That whole desire of wanting more is part of the programming that is destroying our planet. The materialism. Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming. What's going to happen? Are we going to buy more stuff? Are we going to book up the credit cards and get more gear? Give to people that probably won't really appreciate it, and things that will break down in a very short space of time. This is destroying our planet. Materialism. Buy more to fill the hole that's inside. Why not fill the hole on the inside first? See what you need after you finish that. So begin to do the things that give you joy. Remember those things that really excite you. That is your blueprint. Go and get some work done. Go and clean up your baggage from the past so that you no longer have to deal with that. This is what the Inca call cleaning up your river. Cleaning up the silt that is flowing through your life, the baggage that you're holding onto, if you like. Clearing, cleansing, cutting away and allowing that life force to come through you. Clearing the heaviness around you, allowing the lightness of being. Currently our evolution is on the hurry up. On the planet, the earth itself, the vibration of the earth is moving at a huge rate. We don't have time for the baggage anymore, people. So make it a conscious effort, the effort of the warrior, to begin to go through and clean up those areas of your life that aren't working for you. All the blame, the shame, the guilt, the burdens, all of that stuff. And as I say, the Inca call, cleaning up your river, getting rid of it, allowing your river of life to flow, your river of life to flow freely through your world. And the greatest tool that I've ever found is hypnosis. It's phenomenal. You have everything inside you that you need. You have your answers inside you. You just forgot where you put them. So get excited about your lives. And let go of this whole thing of anxiety and depression. The only reason we have those is because our subconscious, our deep mind, our spirit is telling us that something's not right. And like with any pain, physical, mental, spiritual, it's just a warning. It's letting us know that there's something that needs to be changed. When you own it, when you look at it, when you go back and change it, you realize it was only such a little thing. Understand that Dad was in a hurry when he pushed past you, when you were waiting for him to turn up. He'd had a bad day. Are you going to let that incident affect your whole of your rest of your life and your relationships? Because you're still looking at it from the eyes of a child? Think about that one. Till next time, this is Paul Hogendijk from Ancient Pathways. As always, follow your hearts, live your dreams. A beautiful world out there. Go find it. Thank you.